stands think that they're winning with their petition, that it's going to win the whole day, this and that. And it culminates now with their rallying behind the shills and the article. And their favorite right now is this article from the Rolling Stone. Now, I haven't fully read this. I've saved this for us. Fresh reaction. They're all saying the Rolling Stone is right. All the worst stands are going, oh, they're hitting the toxic nerds hard. Let's go through this real quick. Can the best of Star Wars survive the worst of its fans? By C.T. Jones. So they're calling the Acolyte the best of Star Wars. Already failing.
So everybody that's here is on crystal meth. Apparently.
Probably.
Okay.
Before Star Wars can have another successful show, some vocal parts of the fandom have to reckon with what they really want out of the franchise.
Oh, it's not anything we have to reckon with. We want good Star Wars.
I want Disney to not own it anymore. I want them to sell it. There was a tweet out there that we all jumped on at one point during the past couple of days where a guy says, these people not understand if they keep doing this, they won't make any more Star Wars. And everybody replied, your terms are acceptable. Various memes and gifts. We accept your terms. We want, fine. Don't you get it?
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Yeah, exactly. When George Lucas debuted his science fiction epic about a galaxy far, far away in 1977, Star Wars went from a long-shot space opera into highest-grossing science fiction franchise of all time. Almost 50 years and one sale to entertainment conglomerate Disney later, Star Wars isn't just a one-off world. There have been prequels, reboots, standalone TV series, and in-depth theme park edition. Let's stop right there. All of that, since Disney is taking over, has lost money. All of it.
Yeah.
Forbes, who is shilling hard now, had to admit earlier this year they haven't even repaid the purchase price to George. Still haven't done it. Where am I? But like most popular culture, the Star Wars fandom, especially online, has become inundated with loud, conservative,
oh boy,
and in some cases, incredibly racist voices.
Because only conservatives could hate bad storytelling.
Apparently.
I don't know how you guys identify politically, and that's a thing that I'm very proud of, that I don't want to know what celebrities think of. We don't need to discuss it. I don't identify as conservative, though. And I don't think many of the people who dislike Disney Star Wars do. And it's just laughable that we're all lumped into this political argument when we're just like, yeah, it's bad storytelling.
Everybody knows how I lean on everything, but I don't talk about it. Mm-hmm. I don't make it a point of interest, and it doesn't. And I've made it perfectly clear. I don't want any of it in my entertainment. I want themes. I'm perfectly happy with themes because you can't tell a story, especially if politics and government are involved, without political themes. And that's what Star Wars always did.
Yeah, themes are absolutely fine.
Yeah, and here the funny thing is, they always want to say Star Wars is political. But if you look at the original trilogy, there's barely political themes in the original trilogy.
Yeah, there's the Yahtzee comparison that's obviously made with Stormtroopers, but that's it. And that's not really a political statement. I wouldn't call that even political theming. Yeah. It's just an aesthetic more than anything else.
George didn't introduce the themes until the prequel trilogy. That's when he introduced the themes, because he was showing us what happens when a government is corrupt and breaks and falls apart and a totalitarian regime takes over. But that's historical. That's a historical theme. That's not politics. It's political storytelling themes. So
and it's historical parody. There are historical comparisons, parallels to be made there.
Yeah,
but
but they don't get that.
It's just laughable that we have to be a certain political leaning to hate this. Whereas I feel pretty confident in saying that the three of us, we've often criticized bad Trump villains in stories. We're always like, yeah, that's clearly a Trump parody, whatever, annoying. I feel like we would all three have the same amount of criticism if it was a Trump angel hero type character inserted into this.
Yeah.
We don't want current day politics of any form in these storytelling.
I don't want anybody in the real world inserted into my stuff. I just don't. Because it breaks my immersion. It breaks my suspension of disbelief. While Disney has never said these voices are directly impacting what shows get made, the vocal minority, again, they don't get it. We are not the minority. We are the real fans and the normies. They leave out the fact that the normies are the majority, and they've rejected this. The vocal minority of Star Wars devotees keep limiting what they'll accept as true Star Wars.
I thought they liked minorities. I thought minorities were better than the majority. You have to listen to them more.
Also, that's not limiting. That's hundreds of dollars spent over the years. Collect, protect, and preserve. That's devotion. That is true devotion. That's true passion. These fans say they're fighting for Star Wars' future, but if their endless fantasy world can't accept any stories that they don't recognize, some of the self-professed biggest fans in all the worlds could be closing themselves off to any future at all. I believe that's a subtle shot at theory right there. I'm pretty sure that's a subtle shot at theory.
More than likely.
What is Crystal Kyber? Oh, fuck you. Fuck you. Clear is that before Star Wars can have another successful show, the loudest voices online need to realize the Star Wars they want to return never existed in the first place. Will the real Star Wars fans be sent up? Wow. All right. Yeah. You know what? Right here. Get up, fish them out. They're on the bottom shelf. I gotta bend over so you don't see my ass. So do it. Yeah, you know what? This freaking existed. It exists. That exists.
You just imagined it.
I guess. Kind of hurts. I think it's physical.
It's a shared delusion.
Mass sheer delusion. I've spent hundreds of dollars, maybe even thousands of dollars if you total everything up over all the years, including merch, not just the books, toys, video games, time spent on an online MMORPG. I guess I imagined it all. I guess I imagined every waking hour grinding characters on Star Wars, on SWTOR, hours playing KOTOR, hours reading books, hours talking about it, hours as a child playing with toys that existed. The Star Wars that never existed first place, it existed. Right here, I'll go full screen again. George oversaw all of that. It exists. It's real. He said, yes, you can make it. Just don't do this, don't do that. I approve this, I approve that. Fake fans. Maybe I'm gaslit a little bit here. Maybe I am. But this is the line that they've been quoting for the past 2 days since this article dropped, that they have to realize that the Star Wars, their Star Wars never existed. Well, the real stands. I said that right. Please stand up.
Oh, did you see that cringe joke that they just made, though? Can you scroll back up? The what is Crystal?
Yeah.
Kyber, clear. Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's bad. Fuck that. Much of the online
discourse, smart man.
They're not. Much of the online discourse around Star Wars has centered on the franchise's most recent live-action projects. First premiering in 2019, these include The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, Andor, and The Acolyte. The market has been oversaturated with stories, especially many that occur with the same time frames. Okay, here's the argument. They all want to keep saying, I mean, you guys see this argument out of the past week. You all asked for new stories, and they gave you a new story. And now you've rejected it. Well, we didn't ask for any of this.
I just asked for good stories. That's all I asked for.
Yep. I don't care if it's new. Just make it good.
But the stand argument is, this is your fault. They gave you a new story and you didn't watch it. You didn't want it. And now we don't get anything anymore. They're just going to be locked into the same time period. First of all, I never asked them to be locked into this time period because I never asked them to make any of this. Like you just said, I never asked for any of this. I didn't want any of this. I didn't want the Mandalorian. I didn't want Boba Fett to be emasculated. Oof. I didn't want Ahsoka to become the center of the universe. I didn't want Obi-Wan to have his story butchered because of a line they took out of context and spread out to a horrible 8 episodes. And I definitely didn't ask for lesbian witches who are communist Marxists. I didn't ask for that. All right. However, the low audience scores, angry YouTube rants. I've made more money on this show than Disney has. Okay. I think I've made more money. My tiny little channel made more money on this show. Send me a super chat right now if you want me to make more money than Disney does. There, I'm grifting. I'm supposed to grift more. First is a film. All right, YouTube rants and long Reddit threads can really boil down to one. All right, nobody who is anti-Disney Star Wars exists on Reddit. Can we say that? That's a truth. Nobody.
Yeah, I think that's more than fair.
Reddit is the sewer where they all exist and they funnel each other to attack us. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's absolutely not any reasonable thinking people on Reddit right now. I mean, a great example of this is, I don't know if you guys heard about the Fallout situation going on recently. The original Fallout 1 creator said, no, Fallout is not a critique on capitalism. It's actually more a critique on humankind will always resort to war. War is inevitable. And that was the point of the original Fallout. Well, he was posting that on his personal Reddit account on the Reddit Fallout subthread, and they banned him for it, for hate speech. He's the original creator.
You want to talk about fascistic behavior? Go just look at Reddit. Just look at Reddit. That's they do not let anybody step out of line over there. I whenever I do searches for stuff, if something comes up as Reddit as a result, it's the last place I'll go because I don't even want to use it for anything. Reddit threads boil down to one question: who determines what's real Star Wars? The fans.
Period.
The fans do. And they unintentionally I don't think they intended to actually have that right here because right now the fans are determining what is real Star Wars. Acolyte is rejected because the fans said no. Fans say the expanded universe is Star Wars. The original trilogy, the prequel trilogy is Star Wars. Disney Star Wars is not Star Wars. The fans say it. It's what I've been saying for years, not Disney. First is a film and then a trilogy. Star Wars established early on to viewers that even when they were focused on a set of powerful twins and a dark empire, shit was going to go down on literally every other planet. This freedom has allowed for endless story across decades. Yeah, stories that you all willfully ignored.
Yeah.
They
decanonized.
Yeah. They didn't want the EU. They hated the EU, yet they will farm it because it did it first and it did it better with all the stories they're doing. That's simple. This freedom has allowed endless story arcs across decades, but while opportunities have been endless, the patience of fans hasn't. What?
I don't know what that means.
I don't know. Take, for example, the most recent series, The Acolyte, created by Leslie, former assistant to Harvey Weinstein Headland. The series follows May and Osha Anisea, a pair of mysterious twins, both played by Amanda Stenberg, but played by two little girls who are fraternal twins who look nothing alike because Leslie Headland couldn't handle having actual twins on a set because it confused her.
That's such a bizarre thing. You could just hire someone or have a DA assigned.
Yeah.
To tell them apart.
I know.
You've got plenty of people. You have $180 million. Hire someone to keep track of them.
Listen, it's easier to feed young women to a monster than tell twins apart on a set, okay? It's much easier.
It's much easier.
Facts.
Yeah. When May fails to follow through on her education with Cis Master Kemir, or I guess people are calling it Queermere now. We call him Darth Zipperface. Or I never understand. They want to call him his names, call him Kemir, call him the Stranger. He's never called the Stranger in the show.
No.
But they call him the Stranger in all extra material. I don't get it. The series is one of the first of its kind, a Star Wars edition that explores both the backstory of the Sith potential for a corruption where a Jedi, the moral pillars, aren't in the right. Listen, we spent a lot of time breaking down on the fact that there was no exploration of the Sith. They abandoned the actual Sith storylines that would lead to this point. They inserted a character that had Plagueis that had no business being there in that moment, all for jangly member berry, jangly key shit. And they wrote the show, they being Leslie Headland and her band of merry Mongoloids, they wrote that specifically to deconstruct the Jedi. It was all done specifically to deconstruct the Jedi. So the Jedi, and when we saw the Jedi were in the right in everything they did in the show, we saw it. Their decision making based on the facts at hand, they did nothing wrong. What was Master Jedi Squid Game? Was he a creepy weirdo obsessing over children? Yes.
Which is also weird.
Yeah.
Who writes that? I mean, like,
Leslie
whatever,
Headland.
man.
That too.
Well, did you hear the recent report that Lucasfilm tried to get Keanu Reeves to play?
Yes, I've heard that. I don't know if that's legitimate or not.
Well, they said they still want him for Star Wars, but he hasn't been responding.
Yeah, because Keanu Reeves still has a career.
Yes, he does.
He still has standards. He's not broke yet.
Yeah, and at the same time, people have wanted him for Revan for years because he actually literally looks like Revan. So it looks like canonical Revan, but we don't want Revan touched. No,
agreed.
You don't want anything good touched.
No,
agreed.
Yeah, because Disney Star Wars is a bad touch.
It is a bad touch.
Touches you in the bad place.
It's a bad touch.
Show me on the doll where Disney Star Wars touched you.
I need a bigger doll.
Oh God,
there's no doll left.
That's gonna make a bad joke. I'm gonna move on. But well before the show premiered, vocal online fans mocked Stenberg's casting. No, they didn't. Nobody mocked it because they rolled her out at Star Wars Celebration. We said, okay, there she is. We mocked all their behavior on stage for not knowing what Star Wars was. They attacked the fans first. This was the first. Disney literally launched anti-fan propaganda before the show even premiered. So
agreed.
This is fake history, fake stories. They called us all names before it even started, creating fake news. Calling the series evidence that Disney was capitulating to a woke crowd. Leslie Headland, need I say more? We've already discussed that. They also criticized news that the show would include queer characters, including a coven of witches. This week, Deadline reported Disney canceled the series just one season in. Fans upset with what they called a social justice warrior direction for Star Wars Celebrated, calling the show disrespectful to original films and simply not Star Wars they loved. All true.
Or every single word of that is accurate.
Go watch my reviews. Watch every round table where we broke everything down, every article, every interview, every review, everything. We show you. There's evidence. The stands want to say that we never show evidence. No, we do. Mm-hmm. We have evidence all over the place. Blah, 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 blah. Fans upset what they called social justice films. Simply not Star Wars loved not the Star Wars they loved. Ex-owner Elon Musk even celebrated the news of the show's cancellation, appearing to tweet redacted version of the phrase, go woke, go broke. We love Elon right now. Yeah. Elon's he's making the world fun. He's making it fun.
He knows what he's doing. And
right, how much?
And he knows that it's garbage. Everybody knows that this is garbage.
Yeah.
If you want to pretend, by all means pretend. But don't sit there and try to turn it on people that have sensibilities and say that, oh, this is canceled because it's your fault. Like, no, it's canceled because the overwhelming majority of people that are moviegoers or audience goers knows what's good. It's a sense. You can feel it deep down in your plums. You know when it's good or not. It's not hard to understand. And the idea that, oh, because it has these factors of lesbian space witches was somehow they made that boring, go figure. And you take that and like, oh, it's because of all these toxic people is why the show failed. No, the show failed because it's trash. It's trash. And it's not fun trash. It's just trash.
Yeah.
And they just can't wrap their heads around or accept the fact that it's just garbage.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it makes no sense. Like you said, it's trash for many reasons, but the story makes no sense. The characters change their allegiances, they change their desires, their goals at the drop of a hat, instantly. And it all happens like within an hour or two. There's no time for anything to sit, simmer, boil, bake. There's nothing there. They just boom decide to change. OSHA changes sides, constantly. I was going to try and riff a joke, but I didn't have one off the top of my head. She has no real character definition. And May is a reject and a retard who's incompetent all over the place. And the Jedi are dumb. They wrote the Jedi as dumb.
But Adam, here's my question, and I'm not trying to be
Yeah.
funny or try to have a gotcha, but really, what was the point of the show?
Jedi bad.
I mean, yeah, we got that.
Yeah.
But what was being accomplished in the show?
Abuse is romance.
So nothing. Got it. See, this is my thing. Even if you take away all the woke ideologues and scissoring in space, this is a show about nothing. And we're not talking about Seinfeld. This is a show about absolutely nothing.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing to show. There's nothing to prove. There's no story we're following. There's no real protagonist because that girl goes through more heel turns in the big show. I don't know what the heck is going on. There is nothing. It's a show about nothing. And then when people are like, this is stupid, you must be a ISFO, whatever. No, bruh. There's nothing happening.
Yep.
There's nothing. 2 of the episodes are flashbacks that don't connect or go or push a story forward at all.
And they even ruin the story you told because dude did nothing wrong.
Yes.
Dude who Minecraft himself did nothing wrong, had no reason to Minecraft himself unless you have white guilt.
But for what? He was mind sodomized off the jump. He didn't do anything. He wasn't an aggressor. His Wookiee friend got possessed and then tried to murder him.
Yeah.
Why are you committing Minecraft? I'm confused. What is his guilt? He didn't do anything.
So you're right. They destroy their own shit with the flashbacks. You're supposed to tell us more. Go ahead, Jake.
There is an answer for why he Minecraft himself. That's
there is?
meta.
Okay.
Yeah. He's famous in Game of Thrones for Minecrafting himself in a very dramatic fashion, and so they wanted to bring him in to homage that. So they didn't.
So the character,
the
actor.
Yeah, the actors from Game of Thrones.
In Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
So they just brought him here just to do a Game of Thrones?
They wanted to make the homage, but didn't bother justifying it in the story. They're just like,
he's got to do that's my brain.
It is a very iconic moment when he Minecrafts.
Leslie Headland is a hack.
Yo, this makes it so much worse. It makes it so much worse.
All right.
Well, that means you had no plan at any point.
They never had a plan. Leslie, you know what they didn't have a plan? Leslie Headland admitted that Darth Zipperface Queermere was supposed to be done after like the middle episodes, but because everybody thirsted so hard for him on set, they decided to give him more to do. They had no plan.
That's heavy, bro.
Plagueis and Yoda stuff was last minute. They never had a plan. They never were going to have a plan. So right here, they talk about the article says it wasn't going to make money because it spent too much money. All right, fine. But another aspect that can't be divorced from modern fandom is the almost constant racism and sexism that leads of color receive when they are cast in Star Wars-related projects. Stenberg said that after a casting, she was bombarded with race harassment, never showed a single receipt.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on the proof. If there's proof, we'll say those individual people were inappropriate with what they said. We'll absolutely do that. But
I have a serious problem with this. My problem is every time the coloreds or the half-breeds get these type of roles, they automatically, before anybody even says anything, are preemptively saying that everybody's going to hate you, everybody's racist, everybody's this, that, and the other. But then you have the worst role in the show or film in which the character is garbage, undisputedly garbage. And now you're like, look, they hate me. No, we hate the character. We hate the character, and you happen to be black or a half-breed. That's about it. We don't hate you. We hate the character, which ultimately means I hate the writer and director and producers. But I also hate you a little because you go and make it your business to try to make fun or try to get in. Yes, exactly. Half-breed putting her crotch in my face. Trying to own the chuds or whatever their expressions are these days. Just stop. First of all, fire your agents. Let's get that out the way first. Fire your agents. Fire them all because they're setting you up for failure. They're putting you in garbage roles. I'm going to take you back a couple decades. When Samuel L. Jackson was cast as Mace Windu, we in the black community all celebrated. Why? Not because he was black, but because Samuel Jackson is the coolest black dude that's ever lived, second only to Billy D. Williams. That's why we celebrated.
Force, bitch.
Thank you. Ain't nobody come out there like, oh, we hate him because he's black and dirty. No one cares. Honestly, ever.
Dre, everybody feels Mace was underutilized in the
I agree.
movie.
Absolutely.
I agree.
We needed more Mace Windu. We want more Mace Windu.
The hell did he do in Phantom Menace?
He talked to Yoda a couple of times, and he said, "We're not going to let you in the order to Anakin." I mean,
he did nothing.
He did nothing, and frankly, it's like we wanted more Mace Windu. I wanted a better fight against Jango than that.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted more. We wanted the fight that they apparently put in the novelization between Anakin and Mace Windu. We wanted more Mace Windu. Yep. So we just proved them all wrong, saying we complain about that. We complain about black people, Asian people, whatever, people of color in all this shit. We want these good actors, these good characters. Yep. We want more of it. We want more of it. And they bring up Moses Ingram here.
Oh,
Moses Ingram, who they rolled out the 3 receipts, 2 of them clearly manufactured, very clearly manufactured. We didn't yell at Moses Ingram. We yelled at Reva. Reva was a
trash.
Terrible character. Horrible character that ruins, if you believe that Disney Star Wars is real Star Wars, ruins the story of Obi-Wan and Luke. That Luke Skywalker only lives because Reva let him live. So they already, and they roll out, we talked about it before. They roll out the Kelly Marie Tran fake news again. They cannot help themselves by pushing the fake news narratives. They can't. To try and speak it and will it into reality. How much more is there? Backlash of racism and sexism and online abuse seems consistent across all Star Wars projects, most heavily targeted at leads of color. But when the online pundits criticize Star Wars for taking a woke direction, they ignore the power that exists in the source material to begin with. Lucas himself has pointed out his intentional choices in making powerful, high-ranking women.
No one cares. If your leads are trash and they happen to be black or half-breeds, that's the pressure that's going to be coming. Yeah. That's got nothing to do with racism. If Reva was a white woman, or if Vanilla Stanberg, she's technically white, but whiter than what she is now, she'd still have the same heat coming down. Or if they were dudes, if your character is trash, we're going to roast your chestnuts. It's going to happen.
Yep.
This isn't hard. And the reason why it's coming out is, it's always against women and women of color, because that's the only people you're hiring.
Yep.
Period.
Exactly. And nobody has ever had a problem with Leia Organa.
None.
No one had ever had a problem when Mon Mothma was introduced as the most prominent leader of the Rebel Alliance.
No one laugh at her voice a little bit, but no one criticized her existence.
No one had a problem with Padme Amidala.
Nope, not a soul.
In fact, I mean, not for me personally, because I'm not really been into her. Freaking what's her name? Who played Amidala? I just forgot her name.
Natalie Portman.
She became a thirst trap for a generation of nerds.
Oh, yes, she did.
Listen. Carrie Fisher was my thirst trap, okay? She was my thirst trap. So
that's fair.
Natalie Portman was the thirst trap for a generation.
That was my first Israel queen. So, yeah. I need.
So there is never been a rejection of women's Star. Mara Jade Skywalker is one of the most beloved characters.
Agreed.
All we want, and as much as it pains me to say it, Ahsoka found her place.
Also true.
Should
So,
be dead before New Hope, but yes, she did
she should
find
be
her
dead.
place.
Agreed. We
So,
can all agree on
but
that.
this whole thing, this is fabricating. This is this just shows you how lame this shit is. They are literally making shit up for cover for page space here. So what did I just proved all what they're saying here wrong. And they're doing what they always do. They're misquoting George. They're bringing in a George Lucas quote to try and make their point, realizing that that was never what George meant. And that likely, and most of the times, George will then contradict himself 5 interviews later. It's just
Yep.
George, what he does. But what seems like like extreme fans don't realize is that they're creating a space where even the most truest Star Wars fans still wouldn't want to participate. All right, now they're leaning into the fact that Star Wars Twitter, as they call themselves, they created for positivity, and it's so toxic when we ruin it for them. No, they just can't handle debate and discussions. And that's the end of it. This is the end of it. They're just going to yell at us some more. Star Wars
They
fans
just
clamoring.
took they just took an entire article, a massive article, to say absolute nonsense when the real article should have been, hey, it cost a godless amount of money to make and got very low viewership. End of story.
I mean, here we are.
All
This
you
is
need
the
to
end of the
write.
article. This is the end of the article right here.
Jesus.
They spent literally 95% of it attacking us because we didn't like it and making and
Most of us
using
didn't
old
watch it.
and also didn't watch it. And also using debunked fake news stories to make their point that we're all racist, misogynist, homophobe, istophobe, whatever you want to say. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, check out my gaming channel at Renaissance Nerd Arcade, and follow me on X Twitter under @TheRedNerd. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy.